Hello there, and welcome to another edition of the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Waschet were presented by Sartor Hamann Jewelers. We'll hear more about them as we got Valentine's Day coming up. Thanks again to our presenting sponsor, Sartor Hamann. But guys, lots to get into in the opening headlines, and I think we got to start right with the Palace intrigue, as one of my old colleagues and friends referred to the drama sometimes around Nebraska athletics. Bill Moos came out with his book this week, the Crab Creek Chronicles. I believe is the title of the book.
That's exactly right.
Available on Kindle on Amazon. It's probably the easiest way to get it. I think you're going to be able to get an actual paper version of it if you wanted down the road here. But it's been as explosive, I think, as you could have imagined. It's been as detailed as you could have imagined about some of the things that happened during his time at Nebraska, particularly with just some of the dysfunction within the leadership of Nebraska. And these are all things that we've heard about, but nobody obviously has ever put it into words that was directly involved the way Bill Moos did. And I think it's opened up a lot of eyes this week about just some of the things that happened over his time at Nebraska.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe you have heard. I didn't hear all of it. I didn't know a lot of that stuff. I had no idea. I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things as it pertains to Nebraska, but I think in my mind, the most interesting thing was Ronnie Green giving Scott Frost a contract extension without the AD knowing it. You remember that, Rob? Sean, was that 2019?
2019. It was so odd. I remember the Saturday morning of the game, they announced the extension before the Wisconsin game. And they got beat pretty soundly against Wisconsin. It was not a good game. And so you're like, God, did somebody come after Frost? Why did they feel the need to do an extension?
They didn't. Green did. There's no they. That's what a lot of these discussions, there's a recurring theme. It was Moos wasn't, they kind of stripped Moos of power. And that was a great example of it. We were all kind of like, what's going on? Why is that? Well, Ronnie did it on his own. Ronnie Green, not Hank Bounds, by the way. It wasn't Hank Bounds. It was more involved in sports typically. Hank Bounds was the president. Ronnie was the chancellor. And for whatever, Ronnie Green calls Bill Moos and says, just so you know, I did extend Scott. Now, if you're the AD, what are you thinking at that point? I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff going on in your mind. One being, I don't have a lot of power. You know, I mean, they did this without telling me. I'm the supervisor.
Yeah, and seems like that power situation was pretty apparent right out of the gate with the hiring of Scott Frost, where he wanted Chip Kelly, and then he's got all these people in the room basically telling him you're going to hire this guy, even though he felt that it wasn't the right move. And so as an AD, you don't have a say in who you hire as your football coach, the biggest move of your career at that institution. And then, the Dana Altman stuff, being told, no, you're not going to go get Dana, like that sort of thing. Just
by a regent.
I mean, the amount of people hovering around that athletic department that apparently had more influence than the athletic director is pretty startling. I mean, the stuff that you heard murmurs about, but to see it put in writing and that detailed is pretty stunning stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of things there that you could go to about Moos and just all the things that happened. I was stunned in 2018, the first year, that before the Michigan game in September, they summoned Moos in with the letter of things that they were concerned about, and with his wife,
the administration,
Ronnie Green and Hank Bounds, and you need to go get yourself checked out at the Betty Ford Alcohol Clinic. And he did eventually that year go out there. He missed the Northwestern game, and I'll never forget the Michigan game that year. We were out there, and I said to Robin, why is Bill Moos's wife sitting in the press box with the sports writers? It was weird. Like
Kendra,
she was like in the top row, kind of like when you're in our press box, there's kind of like those upper rows that always have empty seats in them usually. She was in one of those seats up there. I'm like, maybe she doesn't want to be bothered. Well, come to find out, she was pretty upset about the letter they just had gotten that week.
Was Moos there, Bill?
Yes.
He was there.
Hank Bounds told them that, you don't need to come, I'm coming.
Right.
And then
Moos ended up going.
Ended up coming.
Okay.
And then they sat in the press box. They did not sit in the president's booth.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was just Kendra, but Bill was there.
Yes. Because Andy Kendi interviewed Bill after that game. Nebraska got hammered by Michigan. If you
Yeah,
remember.
these are all fairly complicated discussions. And one complicator, it hit me while you were talking, is okay. So Moos comes in, and maybe he's not ideal, but it's not much time had elapsed since he had been hired by Hank Bounds. I mean, Hank Bounds hired Bill Moos. It wasn't, so there's some culpability there. I mean, if I guess what I'm suggesting is if you're a Bill Moos detractor, especially at that point in 2018, well, you hired him. I mean, didn't you vet him?
Yeah.
And all these comments I hear detractors of Moos and maybe his lifestyle, whatever, did he not have this lifestyle at Washington State, Oregon, and Montana, where he thrived? And not perfect. I mean, no AD has a perfect tenure. Sean, you've covered this stuff long enough to know it's a rocky road for most ADs. But I mean, he was competent enough to get major jobs at 4 places. And this was a Hank Bounds hire. It was a 100% Hank Bounds. Hell, I sat with Hank Bounds at the mill downtown
with Ronnie Green, right?
No, Hank. I was just me and Hank. And
I thought Ronnie met with you too.
No,
time.
just Hank.
Just Hank.
Just Hank. It was just Hank. And he showed me the guys he was thinking about. I don't mind sharing it now. I said, "What about Trev Alberts?" And he said, "I would not. No, I would not trust Trev Alberts." But I knew where he was going, and he went there. And I mean, I didn't know exactly where he was going. There's candidates, but it was Hank's hire. So I just wonder what he would say. Like, does he feel like he missed on it? I don't know.
And that's the thing you got to keep in mind with all this is it's just one perspective on all this. We're not hearing one side of the story. So, maybe this will spark some comments that provide additional sides to the story. I don't know, but certainly,
what do you think?
It's not a good reflection of Nebraska's leadership at that time. And I guess
it's not.
You would hope that, maybe this kind of puts a spotlight on those types of things that were happening in the past, that they stop happening, or at least to that level where, you have all these different voices pushing all these different agendas that really derail everything that the athletic department is trying to accomplish.
I mean, we've lived this even after Moos, to the way Trev Alberts exited,
and before Moos.
I mean, we had Trev Alberts on this show, and the way the timelines played out, within 24 hours, he flew off from our interview that day to go interview with A&M. If you remember that.
I do remember that.
And then I was away on a vacation, and that's when he went to A&M. But then, for whatever odd reason, over that period, with a interim president, Chris Kaborik, they really, I don't think there was a chancellor in place at that point. If Dr. Bennett was, he wasn't involved.
Right, he wasn't involved.
They made this huge rush to get the hiring of Troy Dannon done. Like it was just like it was a huge priority to get this done before the actual president was named. I mean, some of that stuff. I mean, it was just we've dealt with it here. We're
for a long time since, what would you say, since Frank's hiring,
right? I mean,
2003, basically.
It just
administrative stuff that you feel kind of uncomfortable with, right? Starting, probably the best example of is Harvey Perlman. I mean, and what was just a lot of the administrative issues listen, a lot of people feel this way. This is not a unique take. It's dragged back Nebraska football. The administrative issues, Perlman, Eichhorst, Ronnie Green, etc., have dragged back the program. That's the fact.
I don't think the region should be involved at that level. That's just my opinion. I think they should oversee some contracts and look at important infrastructure things.
How about important at the level that the head of the Regents tells the AD that he can't hire Dana Altman?
Just being told no.
Well, and the Regents have been
find that
involved.
odd?
I mean, you can go all the way back to Clarence Swanson, Barrett Ruud's great grandfather. He was involved as a Regent, former Husker Hall of Fame receiver, and led the hiring to get Bob Devaney here. That obviously worked out really well. I mean, changed everything. But this is not new to this era. It's Regents have been heavily involved.
They have,
and you could go back almost 100 years, probably.
Right. I mean, like I said, what is an example? Some people are going to say, what's an example, Sipple, of the administration dragging back the football program? Well, one good example is Perlman and Eichhorst just hiring Mike Riley without any outside help, just going and getting Mike Riley. And that's it. We're hiring Mike Riley. Now, I would not say Moos made a terrible hire in Frost. It'd be really disingenuous for us to do that because everybody virtually in the state, not everybody, but 98% of the state thought that's who you should
in
hire.
the country.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
they-
reigning
right.
coach of the year.
They
Right.
sold out the spring game in a day.
Right.
I mean,
That was the hire. I mean,
come on.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna, it just, things didn't go as planned or expected. I mean, I think we all can agree on that. But yeah, if they didn't, and the same goes with like hiring Hoiberg. I mean, that was a great hire.
and no one batted an eye on that one.
It took
Nope.
time to get it to where it's at. But here we are.
Right. So Moose, he shined a light on what like Rob referred to as just some sort of overextension by administration. He
Mhm.
shined quite a light on it. I don't think you'll hear from those guys. I think Hank's pretty far removed from it all. I don't think you'll hear from Ronnie Green. The governor's got a lot of it.
I mean, Governor Pillen did quote tweet the Oregon-Nebraska score. That was kind of his
He's getting
comment.
involved.
Right.
And he was on KFAB. I didn't hear the interview this morning, but he did address it briefly.
Like you say, Sean, it's palace intrigue. I'm not surprised by it because Moose has been telling me about it for 2 years. A lot of that stuff that's in the book, he's told me those stories. I couldn't share them because he was going to write them in a book. I mean, but I can't say I knew it all. I didn't know that stuff. I kind of knew they were going after Altman. I'm not thoroughly convinced that was okay. It's just sort of a nuanced conversation. I'm not thoroughly convinced Moose had locked in on Altman. I almost think that was Moose testing those guys to see how much power he had. I believe that Moose kind of wanted Hoiberg, but was throwing Altman out there to kind of show, could I get a guy if I wanted him? And he found out probably what he suspected. I don't have much power here. In fact, I don't have any. You know, they're paying me a lot of money to do nothing.
I mean, there's a reason that, I mean, with all, despite what you want to say about the current state of the program, like the big message was everybody needs to be pulling the rope the same direction. And would you clearly see that rope was getting pulled about 17 different directions. And that's why things were where they were.
I hope people aren't, we don't want to say this stuff. Talked to another administrator last night. I'm not going to say who it was who said, no, it doesn't, they're not pulling in the same direction here. They might be now.
Former
maybe.
administrator.
Yeah, they might be now. I don't know. But they weren't a lot for about 20 years, and it's affected the place. It's hard conversation, but I don't think it will come as a surprise to a lot of people who follow it.
All right. When we come back, guys, a good discussion, and we probably could have done a whole show on this. People are interested to hear more, but I want to hit on the NFL Combine. We learned Nebraska's invites to that next. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. And we're back here on the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett. We're brought to you by a presenting sponsor, Sartor Hamann Jewelers, and their Valentine's Day special. Spend $129 and get not 6, not 12, but 18 roses. We will hold them until the day of, or you can take them with you immediately. We all know how much roses mean to your special someone, but guess what? Sartor Hamann Jewelers means even more. This is the ultimate home run. Spend $129 and get 6, not 12, but 18, an 18 rose bouquet. What could mean more? A beautiful jewelry item from the best of the best, plus roses. Don't miss out on this once a year special. Sartor Hamann, voted the best of Nebraska for decades, 121 years old, 4 generations in Lincoln and Grand Island, worldwide at SartorHamann.com, when only the best will do. Sartor Hamann Jewelers. All right, well, let's get into the NFL Combine. We learned Nebraska will have just 2 invites, and I say just 2, but to kind of put the numbers in perspective here within the Big Ten Conference, number of other, like Nebraska came in with 2. Ohio State has 11. Let's see, Iowa, Oregon, Indiana, Penn State have 9. Michigan has 8. USC has 7. So those are your top Big Ten teams.
How many teams is that? Just read off how many.
So I read off 1. Michigan had 8. So USC 7. That's 2 teams. 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 teams that had
more than 2,
7 or more.
It's a problem. I mean, I don't think you want to gloss over that. That's a problem. Okay, you see the problem.
And half the league has 3 times as many NFL Combine invites.
See the problem? I mean, you can't, as a media corps, we can't gloss over that stuff. That's the problem, really.
Cincinnati had 4.
Okay,
and you
like
remember
them close,
and their
beat them,
and their quarterback would be one once he goes.
Right.
But they had 4 that got in,
then, basically,
and that got in. And I can remember everyone went to Arrowhead. Everyone kind of stuck their nose up like this is going to be an easy win.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget Taylor Lewan's comments to Will Compton that like he ran into some of his scout friends with the NFL, and he kind of gave the impression, yeah, Nebraska should win this thing easily. He goes, I don't know what you're watching. He goes, but we're here only to watch Cincinnati's guys for the most part. They're the only guys that we're really interested in. And
that's telling.
You know, like, and we think this is going to be a really close game.
That stuff is really important, Sean. Those numbers that you just laid out, those are very telling.
Michigan State with 2, Maryland with 2, Northwestern had 3.
Okay, so that's where you're at. You're
UCLA
with Michigan
had 2.
State, Northwestern.
You're below Northwestern.
I mean,
well, Northwestern looked pretty good. Don't lie. Like when they came into the stadium this year, they looked not bad at all. Like physicality wise.
Yeah, they're not Ohio State. I mean,
like their one receiver, you'd probably take that guy over what Nebraska had this year. That one, I mean, what was his name? Stone.
He was good. Yeah, the white kid. I don't know. It just, you can't explain that away. That's the thing. You just can't explain that away.
Emmett Johnson, Deshaun Singleton. By the way, did I say the name?
Yes, you did.
Those are the 2 invites.
And big for Emmett. You know, Emmett's just got to go run a good 40, right? And that'll help him a lot. That's
4 5s.
Yeah, and he probably will. Great for Emmett, great for Singleton. You thought maybe you'd get a Sierra Wright in there or maybe a Rocco Spindler.
Neither got in, no Javen Wright. And that's not surprising with his medical history, his age. But yeah, just 2 will be in Indy. 319 players make it. So to kind of use a recruiting analogy, On3 does the top 300. And, you know, basically the top 300 in college football make the combine. I mean, that's the same kind of analogy.
Can Nebraska take credit for Nate Workacher, who also got in? I mean, once a Husker, right?
Well, and that's a head scratcher when you think about, like, you had an NFL combine level tight end on your roster, and for whatever odd reason, you couldn't get it worked out to keep him here.
19 catches. He didn't set the world on fire at A&M. 19 catches.
Yeah, but he's a pro prospect.
Oh, I know. He's good. I like him. I watched him this year. I mean, he had a huge catch against Notre Dame in that.
Yeah, the game winner.
The game winner, right. So this has to change. That's what, Sean, you got to come back here some year and Nebraska has to be in that upper echelon for them to be in the upper echelon. They have to be in the upper echelon of the number of guys in the combine for them to be at the top of the league. That's
29 tight ends made the combine. And so Heiner Carberg is kind of who you went with, and obviously not a combine guy. And you had a combine guy that was going to succeed a combine guy from the year before.
You need 7, 8, 11 guys. We can't sit around thinking, oh, we can beat Ohio State regularly
with effort and
just cute little stories because they have a ton more talent than you. Has Nebraska? I mean, come on, you just can't give up on the notion that they can do that Nebraska can acquire that kind of talent. It's perplexing. We haven't seen it in a long time. Although Sean was reading the other day, it was a 2003 team. You can even do this with Nebraska. He was reading the 2003 defense. It's fallen off dramatically here. 2003 defense is not one that we reflect on and say, oh my God, that's one of the best defenses in school history. But when you start reading their names, they're way ahead of this where Nebraska is now.
And that's the concern, I guess. I mean, there's some young players that you hope develop into that realm. But right now, I mean, like what's going to change next year? Like how many combine guys on the roster do you see right now? I don't see many.
No.
I mean, you're probably looking at maybe 2 again.
It's got to change.
So, I mean, that's the hurdle. It's all about the Jimmies and the Joes. Like
pretty much.
Especially in this era now where you're playing against these super teams like Ohio State and Oregon that go out and not only recruit the best players, but then just pick the best players out of the portal every year. Like, the gap from a talent perspective has never been wider, even within Nebraska's own conference. And that makes that hill even steeper to climb.
The SEC had 114 combine invites of the 319. Big Ten had 84.
Okay.
The ACC had 50, but 19 are Clemson and Miami.
Wow.
And to kind of, Notre Dame had 6. To kind of give you an idea of the dent of the transfer portal to the group of 5, the entire MAC had 5. The entire American had 4. The entire Mountain West had 3. The entire Sun Belt had 1.
The entire Mountain West had 3.
So you could take like a top level Big Ten team or 2, and they have more combine invites on that singular roster than those entire leagues combined. And that's the portal. Because if there is combine level talent, they're not staying in the Sun Belt, the Mountain West, or the American or the MAC.
So Nebraska, in order to compete for championships, really has to play clean. They have to be very smart, buttoned up. The game day management has to be really good. I mean, that's the only way you're going to do it. I mean, you got to kind of play above your talent level consistently. That's the only way you're going to do it, and that's hard to do. It's really hard to do.
Well, Indiana had 9, so like they identified properly. They played probably better than what people could have imagined, and they had players.
Yeah, I mean, and they're buttoned up. I mean, they play. You watch them; they're sound. That's the thing. I think it was Saban that said that. They're incredibly sound, Indiana. So not only do they have 9 guys in the combine, they're sound.
They're extremely well coached.
Texas Tech had 8. Texas had 7.
Okay.
But this is kind of sobering. Arkansas was 6. Auburn was 6. Kentucky was 6. Missouri was 6. I mean, so and those are lower tier SEC teams right now.
Yep. It's sobering. I hate it. I mean, that first segment was kind of sobering. This segment's kind of sobering. Is there any good news, Sean? We talk to spring game.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about a March 28th spring game.
Right,
All right, we're gonna hit on that next. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show.
Oh, boy.
And we're back here on the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett. Before we get into some spring ball talk, this segment of the show brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Particularly, they have their President's Day special and sale going on right now. Listeners can get 50% off during this President's Day special, as well as utilizing our promo HOL. You're going to get $35 off. And I actually just put in an order last night. I wanted to get some more hamburgers because we love the hamburgers, how easy they are to make, how good they are. Got an order of the ribeye blend and the filet mignon burgers.
Yum. Sounds good.
Because we have the flat top grill, and come home after a practice, the sports, throw them right on there, and
done in.
You've got like a restaurant quality hamburger in under 10 minutes. And so love those at Omaha Steaks. Obviously, lots of other great selections and items, side items, other steaks, chickens, you name it. They've got it all at Omaha Steaks. Get 50% off the world's best everyday protein. Go to omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during the President's Day sale, and for an extra $35 off, use the promo code HOL at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com, and an extra $35 off with the promo code HOL at checkout. Thanks again to Omaha Steaks for sponsoring us here on the Husker Online Show. But guys, we officially learned the start time for the spring game, March 28th, and 11 a.m. kickoff. Tickets will go on sale later this month for the red-white game. So the red-white game, as we once knew it, is back. They did obviously kind of a modified, whatever you want to call it, last year, where
whatever you want to call
it. they played some football.
They did,
but
the lower units.
Yeah, they did.
We saw some TJ Lateef. Do you remember that?
Turned out.
Yeah. That. I mean, for me, that was the highlight. You got a kind of a good look at Lateef.
But we'll get the spring game. Spring ball starts a week from Saturday. So February 22nd, they will open up practice with 3 straight weeks of practice, take a week off for spring break, and that gets us to the week of March 28th of the spring game. So they're going to it's the earliest spring on record for Nebraska football. It's going to be the earliest red-white spring game by far in the history of the program.
Rob, what's going on in basketball on March 28th?
This little thing called March Madness.
That would be the Elite Eight games.
Elite Eight. That could get sort of awkward.
Potentially. Potentially.
That's the one thing. Like, you wonder if like that was at all discussed, or it's your sports spring ball. You got to do it that way, and they're a little hamstrung because of the concert. The Zach Bryant concert that's going to be in the stadium on April 25th. They need 8 days before the 25th, so that knocks out the weekend before the 25th as well. So they were a little limited with how they could stage the calendar.
There's good parts to this that they're starting. I mean, it means that guys that get banged up will have more recovery time. Rule has talked about, he's talked about this openly, that they just want to get guys going. They got these new guys in here, and let's see what they got. Let's just go. Let's get out and get going. I'd like that part of it. Personally, I kind of like it. I don't like the lag. I don't like the lag time between things. So I see some good in it. It's just a lot of people have basketball in their minds right now. But football is always going to have its place.
It'll ramp up like it always does. And I'm glad that they're playing our game. Like, enough of this like circus sideshow stuff. Just play football. That's what people want. They want to see what the players look like. They want to see what personnel packages look like. They want to see guys playing against the other best guy on the other side of the field. And like whatever they've tried to turn the spring game into over the years, just it got worse and worse and worse. Where last year, like, I was like looking around, like, what are we doing here? Like, as somebody's riding a mechanic, John Cook's last one, someone on a mechanical bull. Like, what are we doing?
A wing eating contest?
Yes, like Mike Eckler bench pressing. Like, what is this? Just play football.
Don't forget the garage sale.
This isn't like a
That
carnival.
was successful.
Yeah. That was actually the highlight of the whole thing.
Besides me dropping a punt, the garage.
Oh yeah,
sale.
yeah. Your punt.
Here's the thing. Like, I know that some people are going to say, "Well, you guys weren't very critical last year," and I wasn't. In the moment, I was kind of like, "Let's just see what it looks like." You tried, and I kind of try to look for the best in everything. And
it went long last year.
It was way too long.
I think it was 3 hours.
I was saved by an interview on field with Dan, and because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to write about. Thank God.
Look at this.
Elijah Judy.
Yeah. Thank God I got this. Thank God I got this interview with Troy Dannon, because I don't. Is that what I'm writing about? Judy looked good roping that.
Hey, look at Damon, and they're calling play-by-play on the field.
Yeah, that right there. TJ Lateef is avoiding a tackle. That's the highlight of the day.
It wasn't. Yeah.
So I'm glad they're getting back to football, because that's what the spring game's supposed to be. And Nebraska fans are smart enough and dialed in enough that like they don't need to be like distracted with stuff.
Ooh.
Play football.
Well,
you can throw some stuff in here and there, but don't make it a circus. Make it a football game.
Well, along those lines, I'd never tell a coach what to do, but I would make sure that Calandria looks good. You can do it. You can fashion the.
I mean, even if it's
you can fashion how you call
backups. Like,
yeah, you can
one versus the world.
Yeah, ones versus the world. What plays you call? I mean, in Calandria will look good anyway, probably, but he equals excitement to me. He equals a reason for optimism.
He's the wild card, right?
Yeah,
now.
You don't want a rock fight.
No, not necessarily. No,
like
probably
Bill Callahan actually had the best idea for spring games with the one versus the world format, because you leave the stadium feeling really good about all your starters.
Yeah, we're not suggesting that you try to dupe the fans. It sounds like that a little bit, but
just put them in a situation to showcase,
right, where they can succeed.
Like where some deep balls get completed. These are like, oh wow,
yeah.
Like it was good to see him run. I mean, I remember like thinking like Krinsky Gillian was going to be really good.
He caught some deep balls. He wasn't bad.
I pulled that one out, didn't I?
You did.
Spring game hero.
Krinsky Gillian. Undersized receiver.
How
looked like a running back.
You to properly pronounce Krinsky Gillian's name?
Spelling it was a big.
Spelling was harder than saying it.
Yeah, but I am legitimately interested in like Calandria, Kalen, even TJ. We've seen Lateef, but I'll be interested.
The running backs,
yeah,
the O-line,
yeah. There's things that will be worth covering and worth seeing. For sure. I hope there's a big crowd there.
They've gone out of their way, Robin, to like not have like an off-season national championship off-season. Like
this is the quietest I've ever recall it being.
They've kept. I mean,
Ever.
there's been no Matt Rule podcast since before the bowl game.
Mm-mm.
There's been no really inside looks.
No signing day press conference. Like,
Well, they had a January one. Or was it? Did they do? Didn't we get one January event?
yeah, there was one.
Or was it December?
I don't even remember.
They haven't been like
It's been a while.
they haven't rolled out a lot of stuff on Twitter about their workouts, you know. So you know what it's all goes back to what Matt Rule said on Sports Nightly last month when he was asked basically like fans want to know if you can make the kind of jump Indiana has made. And he said, we're not positioned to talk about that. We just got to be quiet and work. And that's what they're doing. He set the tone, I thought, with that comment. I think a lot
they can take
right. I think a lot of people nodded and said, that's good. Good. Thank you.
And we still don't really have a great idea of what the schedule is going to be as far as like, what kind of access we'd get. But yeah, actually, I'm looking back. I don't know if we've had a formal press conference with football since the bowl game.
That's a long gap.
Because you think about the portal closing or open. We got back and the portal opened and it was pretty busy. But yeah, we obviously heard from Matt Rule after the bowl. I'm looking back at our interviews here, and I don't see a Matt Rule interview since.
So that
the bowl
one
game.
must have been in December.
Yeah, he did a December one to go over like the high school recruits that signed in that day. But other than that, there hasn't been. And was that the program reset day?
The question about the program reset?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Let's sip through the grenade out there.
I did not regard it as a grenade. Robin, I got to tell you, I was surprised by that response. I was not looking like Matt suggested. Coach Rule suggested I was kind of looking for clicks. I wasn't. It was just a question I had been wanting to ask him. I did not expect that sort of response at all. I was totally taken aback.
I didn't mind the question.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad question.
But that's the last time we've heard from Rule in terms of a formal group setting.
So it's time, right?
What's happened since then?
Yeah, it's time.
So we've gone from December 31st, and here we're going to go all of January and most of February, so almost 2 months.
And I think it's appropriate to hear from Pat Stewart too. I think it's appropriate. I think we should hear from the general manager.
Last year, he was just getting his feet wet.
Right.
Now he's had a full year, and he's one of the most important people in that building. So,
right. He put together.
I think you should hear from him.
I mean, wouldn't you like to talk to him, Sean?
Absolutely. I mean, we interviewed him. Was it last spring?
Last spring when he came aboard,
and that was too early to do much.
Right. Now there's legitimate questions to ask him.
All right. Well, when we come back, Abby Barmore will join the show. We'll take your questions in the mailbag. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. And we're back here on the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washut, Abby Barmore joining us here in the mailbag. Before we get to that, we're brought to you by Hallow Socks. Great time to check out Hallow Socks. Phenomenal product made from alpaca. It is not just socks you wear with your boots or kind of outdoor heavy duty. The everyday socks. They have low cut socks, regular different colors, you name it. They've got the socks for you, and I promise you will not find a better sock than what Hallow Socks has to offer. Get on their website right now. They've got a great deal. Buy two, get two free. That's their current President's Day special. Buy 2 pairs of Hallow Socks, get 2 free. Check it out on their website. I promise you will not be disappointed with the quality of socks. They've sold over 3 million pairs of socks. They have 17,000 5-star reviews, a 99-day money back guarantee. Thanks to Hallow Socks for sponsoring us here on the Husker Online Show. Let's get into the mailbag, Abby. Where are you going first?
Okay, first one. Who do you think the top 5 starting DBs will be next year?
Well, I think Andrew Marshall is going to obviously be in there.
100%.
Donovan Jones is going to be somewhere in there, whether projected wise.
Yep.
And I tend to think Danny Odom.
So those would be maybe your top 3 corners right now.
Yeah. Then your safety.
With the safety,
McDougal.
I think McDougal is almost a sure bet starter. You bring him in not to watch. You bring him in to help the guys learn the system and take over. The other safety is probably Benning Guthrie discussion.
Well, and Justin Rhett. Justin Rhett's a rover.
Yeah.
So like when I say corners, one could be a nickel, one could be like more of a true boundary corner. And that's where those three corners kind of factor in. But like Rhett is probably your rover.
Yep.
And then it's probably between Guthrie and Benny. And Guthrie was the starter before he got hurt. His shoulder was hurt. Did he even play in the bowl game, Robin?
Yes.
Guthrie?
Oh, he didn't.
He may have.
I thought he played for a little
Didn't
bit.
he give up a touchdown?
Yes.
Yes.
His shoulder
He did.
was pretty bad, like late in the year.
I think it's a battle. I mean, there's a battle at safety.
New coaches back there again.
Right.
As it should be.
So
I think
we'll
that's
see.
it.
Oh, then the transfers. Shigs and the two guys they brought in
Yeah, they might factor in there.
could factor in there. So, all right, next question.
Okay, rank the 3 phases in terms of strength for next year. So offense, defense, special teams.
Oh.
Offense is the strength. I think with the quarterback. I mean, you've got a quarterback, Calandria, who the year that he had last year at UNLV would have been the all-time best year a quarterback ever had at Nebraska.
I don't know why I paused at all. It is offense. The offensive line,
The receivers.
yeah, with the group that they brought in on the offensive line with Babalade,
Tree Babalade,
Black,
and
and
Benga.
they could be 3 new starters to add with Evans and Pritchett, who I both highly regarded players, and then a very good receiving core with a lot of promise at quarterback. I guess the issue with this discussion is it's offense by a long way. It seems like.
So
Am I wrong?
You're throwing special teams into that equation too?
Yes. Well,
They're bringing most
Kicker, punter back,
Yeah.
return man Barney back.
who's not back?
Eckler.
Yeah.
The guy ran it.
Now, we had a big fight about this a
We
couple
did.
shows ago,
Did we?
but
Did we? Wasn't memorable.
about Eckler.
Yeah.
But Nick Humphrey is going to run all the same things Eckler ran, and Maher is still coaching the kickers and punters. The same kicker and the punter is here.
Mhm.
I put special teams 2. I put defense 3.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I am too.
Until the defense
They got a lot
gets
to prove.
more 4-man rush pressure
Oh God, yes. You got to get to the quarterback.
to force turnovers.
Yeah, and just be disruptive.
13 forced turnovers last year.
Well, listen. What did you hear Vrabel at halftime? You know, Vrabel, the Patriots coach, he said something critical. They're talking about, you got to deal with that Seahawks running back, Kenneth Walker.
Mhm.
He said, what do you got to do? Well, here's what you got to do on defense. You got to set the edge, build a wall, and swarm to the ball. Set the edge, build a wall, and swarm to the ball. Nebraska didn't set the edge.
Mhm.
They have
Especially
to.
late.
Yeah, I mean, it was very. It hit me like a sledgehammer when Vrabel said that. That was the number one thing he said. We got to set the edge,
Mhm.
build a wall, swarm to the ball. That's defense. If you're not setting the edge, you're putting yourself at a ungodly disadvantage.
You need dudes that can set the
Remember
edge.
what Penn State game? Remember that?
I do.
We're sitting up there dismayed. Yeah,
Right around the edge.
Yeah.
That game was over in the first quarter.
Mhm.
because they weren't setting the edge.
At all.
Right. They're getting whipped. All right, that's enough.
All right.
Let's
Next
talk
question.
about the spring game.
Next question.
Here's something a little more exciting, I guess. Nebraska ball.
Here we go.
But which of their losses have been the most disappointing to this point?
Most
Ooh, that's a
disappointing.
good one,
Mhm.
Rob.
The Purdue game, because of how poorly they started. The first 37 minutes were the worst 37 minutes they've played all season, and they just looked uninspired. Purdue was playing harder. They were making all the effort plays, making all the winning plays. And yes, Nebraska figured it out and bounced back and took the lead in overtime and had every chance to win that game. But they never should have been in that position where they need to overcome a 22-point deficit. That was like the way that they came into that game was disappointing just because of how much was on the line, how much opportunity was there for them to solidify their standings in the Big Ten race, as a tournament race, all that sort of thing. And they didn't even show up until it was, too little too late.
Purdue had something to do with it. They put a stranglehold on them defensively. Purdue's defense was really
They're
good.
playing harder.
Right. Purdue, if you look at Purdue's schedule, they had to win that game. And they
Yeah.
played like that, right? That's how I
This
thought
puts
Purdue,
them back in 2-seed territory.
You could make the same case for Nebraska.
And
They're at
Nebraska-
home. Like they went in the go said, we're not going to lose at home. Now they lost 2.
Like Purdue could be a 2 and Nebraska could be a 3 or a 4.
I mean, that could be the difference of getting a triple bye in the Big Ten tournament.
now the good news again is if you look at those top teams in the Big Ten, Nebraska's schedule is the most favorable.
It is. But that was like the one last opportunity to like really kind of hammer home a statement resume victory.
100%.
And get some more separation at the top of the standings.
It would have been a monster.
Nebraska's 2-3, Robin, against that upper tier in the Big Ten, which is a respectable record.
Yeah, it's good, but it arguably could be better.
Could be 4-1. I mean, Illinois was the one that you knew.
Yeah,
That's the one.
Illinois is the one they just got outplayed.
But then Illinois just got beat by Wisconsin.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
a lot of ball left.
All right. Final question, Abby Barwar.
Final question. What is your favorite Winter Olympic sport?
Ooh, I mean, it's hard not to say hockey for me, and especially this year, the NHL players are back.
Okay.
They've taken a break from doing that the last several Winter Olympics. Well, now the NHL players are playing for Team USA and for Canada. Russia is not playing in the Olympics. So the Russian team, would be one of the best ones as well. And they're not in from whatever sanctions they're under right now. But I do think hockey, just having that pro element, is going to be really fun to watch.
It's hard not to say curling, because that's the sport that I feel like I could be really good at. Just
Really?
have a couple,
Why do you feel that way?
a couple Molson Ices and just get out there and curl. Well, because I like that's like a yard game. It's like playing cornhole or whatever. Like,
Yeah, you think
like
you'd be good at it?
Yeah, that's kind of my wheelhouse. And so like I figure like I look at those dudes, like I could win a gold medal if I really put my mind to it. Like that's so I
Robin's
get into
lost
that.
his mind.
Wild card here, the skeleton. Have you ever seen it? It's
It's
one where they go down
crazy.
head first on their stomachs down this like icy track, going 80 miles an hour,
Wow.
like head first.
Oh my gosh.
It's like the most death wish sport of all time. And like you're watching it, like thinking this guy could die. Like that itself makes it entertaining.
Yeah, that's all. I would say, just as a whole, it's pretty entertaining. It's not like I've watched a lot of it. I watched some of figure skating, which I don't even mind for some reason. You know why I don't mind? Here's why I don't mind. Because it's the exact same as it was in 1976.
It's like Christy Yamaguchi out there.
Yeah, it's like nothing's changed.
People are better athletes now, I would say, in terms of some of the things they can do.
Possible cost us, but I don't know. I mean,
Cost.
I like the downhill skiing. I mean, that's what I really like. Freaks me out. The jump, when they're flying through the air. I like the downhill skiing is probably what I enjoy most.
It's crazy how Mike Tirico literally went from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He was like teasing the Olympics during the Super, like in the post game, like on the field. The guy does it all.
And then the next day he was in Italy.
And he is amazing, by the way, as a play-by-play man. And just he was like what's the way to describe him with the Super Bowl? He's like the master of ceremonies for the biggest event in the world. And he handles it incredibly well. He's like the master of ceremonies. You can't pay him enough money.
Abby, what's yours?
Figure skating. But
Okay.
here's what I have to say. It is getting very different because they can do the backflip this year.
Whoa.
Ilya Malinin, he is the only man in the world that can land the quadruple axel, I think, 4.5 rotations.
Didn't Tanya Harding do that?
Triple.
No.
Tanya.
I could see you being a Tanya Harding fan.
Oh, big fan. Met her.
You met her
in Belmont.
where?
Yeah, and she was with Tommy Arciaga, a friend of mine, at an event, and Tommy drove up in his pickup at the Shell station in Belmont. Said, "You want to meet Tanya Harding?" I'm like, "Yeah," and out she comes out of this pickup. Yeah,
Hey, good money.
This is crazy lore.
yeah.
See you.
She was wearing a flannel shirt. She was just like you'd think, but she's really pleasant. I was bowled over.
So was Nancy Kerrigan. That's all I got for figure skating jokes.
Time. I'm sorry to butt in.
Yeah,
you like
really-
figure
That's right,
skating
yes.
because,
going on like a
and you're
real
saying figure
elaborate
skating's
thing.
changed.
Yes, I'm saying there's one man right now, Ilya Malinin, that is changing it. He calls himself the quad god.
What country is
and he
from?
really is. The
Quad
U.S. He's from Virginia.
Quad god.
He is
Calling you the quad. god.
awesome. But the figure skating, the U.S., they won the team Olympics, this figure skating, and then Ilya is in a great spot to win gold today in the
Today.
singles. Yep.
Blades of
Wow,
glory.
You love it, don't
Chaz,
you?
I
Michael
love
Michael.
the Winter Olympics.
Why do you
I
like
love
the
it
limb?
so
Why?
much.
Why do you like it so much?
I feel like, yes, that's him. Thank you, Megan. He's
He
amazing.
kind of looks like the guy from Blades of Glory.
He absolutely does.
The Winter Olympics, I think it's so fun because like I I like them better than the summer because the summer it's like who can run and throw and shoot the best, and in the winter it's like who can not die and look cool when they're like throwing themselves down a mountain. Like I think it is so awesome. Like the snowboarding, the skiing, even the curling. I was watching the gold medal match yesterday. Like I love the Olympics.
What a
so
life.
much.
How great of a gig would it be to cover like this? Because I wouldn't think it's like super high stress.
No, it'd be good. It'd be fun.
Like
Like to send somebody over to
stories
Italy.
upon stories upon stories. Like there's
Nicole Auerbach's out there writing. I've
talk
seen.
to anybody, you're going to find a fascinating feature.
Yeah, and you don't really have competition. I mean,
Right.
you're kind of on your own out there, and
Yep.
it'd be fun.
It'd be fun.
It would be awesome.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk Nebraska basketball with Robin. Huskers need to rebound from the loss against Purdue as they get ready for Northwestern on Saturday. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. All right, final segment here of the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washut as we talk some basketball. It was a tough night at PBA, just the way Nebraska started down 14-1, clawed back, Rink Mass with a chance to hit the go-ahead free throw that may have won the game. Purdue missed the shot that sent the game into overtime when it was tied. Huskers had a lead in overtime, but just couldn't overcome the rebounding and some of the turnover things they battled in that game. A real lost opportunity, Robin, to get Purdue in Lincoln like this and not pull away and get the win.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's a loss to a really good team, a top 15 team. So like all three of Nebraska's losses this year have been to top 15 opponents. So like it's hard to freak out too much, but again, with as much that was at stake for both teams, Nebraska included, obviously, and then for them to show up the way that they did, and tip of the hat to figure it out and come back all the way back from down 22 to send that thing to OT and have like multiple chances to win it. But the fact that they put themselves in that position, that's why I said this was the most disappointing loss of the season thus far, because it was at home in a game that you knew what was at stake. And I thought this was a good matchup for them. Like Illinois, there's some stuff that you just can't really figure out with all the things Illinois does. But I thought that Nebraska matched up with Purdue really well, but they just didn't play like themselves whatsoever. I mean, obviously the rebounding was a huge part of that. They just got dominated on the boards.
They gave up 21 offensive rebounds.
But 14 turnovers. That's their third most turnovers in a game this season. And just uncharacteristic stuff, or just kind of lazy passes. And, with Purdue playing harder than them, they were jumping passing lanes. They were getting deflections. They were just contesting every single pass and shot. And Nebraska just didn't look ready for it. And so that, again, that's the most disappointing aspect. It's encouraging that they had the fight to come back, but certainly discouraging that in a game of that magnitude, they were not ready to play whatsoever to start.
So Purdue gets 21 offensive rebounds. Nebraska has 14 turnovers. That's 35 possessions that go to Purdue. It's hard to overcome that, and they almost did. It's sort of miraculous that they almost did.
Yeah, so they ended up with, between the turnover margin and the offensive rebounding margin, 18 additional possessions,
Okay,
and 17 more shot attempts.
Okay.
That was, Robin, the best the team has held down Price, I felt like, all year, where he just couldn't even breathe.
Yeah, Illinois did it in the second half, where he had 2 points in the second half. But I think a lot of that is just they were being physical, but just the effort. They couldn't get Price the ball because Purdue was running through every screen and just playing with a different level of energy that usually, when Price is good, is because he's just wearing people down. He's constantly running, and Purdue had no issues keeping up with him, which was surprising to me, because I wondered who outside of CJ Cox was going to be able to run with Price. And clearly they had multiple guys.
Yeah, Purdue they looked like a top 5 team in the first half.
I mean, they were picked to win the league.
Right.
They were the preseason number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of them. Like I said, they look like a top 5 team in the first half. They didn't look like that in the second half.
And that's been their issue. They're erratic as all get out.
Yeah.
And that was a kind of embodiment of their whole season last night.
Yeah, there's some very good teams in the Big Ten that are a little on the erratic side. Michigan State and Purdue are the ones that come to mind mainly. Little erratic.
Now, Robin, they're home Saturday, a noon game. Northwestern should be a packed house. It's alumni weekend. So you'll have a Tyronn Lue potentially back in the building. I've heard Vincent Hamilton.
Yeah.
A lot of the higher profile players.
They're honoring the 95-96 team, so pretty much that whole squad.
The NIT,
yeah,
the NIT champions.
Would Jerron Boone come back for this?
There's potential.
He's on the list that I saw.
I mean, with those guys, like, they have verbal commitments, but you just don't know who's like actually going.
Does
to take
Nebraska pay for some of these guys? You would think to get them back.
I don't know,
or provide lodging, or
I don't know. Because I remember there was one former player that was like mad that they didn't, and I don't remember. Who
I kind of
was.
think they should in some situations. Like if you're trying to make this part of the event, like you have a budget for a halftime show, right?
Yeah.
Or
Good point.
Yeah, they're not spending any money on
No.
halftime shows.
the halftime shows this year have just fallen off.
So
Like,
they're saving. They've got some extra coin laying around.
this past game, it was the UNL drum line, which is fine, but we've seen a lot of little kids play basketball.
And hey, I will say, like, going to various road games, like that's kind of the norm now. Like, you're not seeing a lot of these big time Red Panda or the Amazing Slodic or whatever. Like those guys cost so much money, and like in an era where every dollar matters, like it's kind of a waste.
It is. Now, what I wondered is they're honoring the NIT championship team from '96. I wonder if there's any thought of honoring the first NCAA tournament team 40-year anniversary. That'd be Brian Carr, Dave Hoppin, Bernard Day, that crowd. Could have done that.
I mean, I'm sure a few of those guys will be there.
Yeah, I think
but,
Hoppin.
like, not individually. Like this one is just the anniversary of the
Danny
NIT
Nee will be back,
championship.
right?
Yep. Danny will be back. So that in itself should be reason to come out, but it's, once again, another huge get right opportunity for Nebraska, just like Rutgers was. It's a game they're expected to win and win handily. No line on it yet, but Ken Pom projects a 14-point victory with a 89% chance of winning for Nebraska. So like that's a game that you're at home, you're just coming off a stinging loss. You better come ready to play. And I expect that they will, but they need to, because next up is another big one on the road against Iowa on Tuesday. And, for a team that needs to make sure they stay in the thick of it, you cannot let these highly winnable games at home like Saturday slip through your fingers.
And Robin, the bracketology now, Nebraska's probably going to fall down to a lot of threes and maybe even some fours.
Any fours?
I haven't seen any fours, but I know like Lenardi dropped them down to a 3. Let's see. Currently, Nebraska is the average is about still a 2 seed, but I think a lot of them haven't updated their brackets yet. So the ones that have, a lot of them have dropped them down to a 3, but right now they're still hovering in that 2-3 range.
The competition for high seeds to go to St. Louis and Oklahoma City is as fierce as any group of teams. You have Iowa State, Kansas,
Iowa State just lost,
Houston, and then you have Purdue, Illinois, Nebraska. You have 6 teams probably that are vying for those 4 higher seeded host spots where they get to play in like a geographical spot. And Illinois seems like they'd be a lock to St. Louis right now.
Maybe.
Kansas probably could get themselves there. Kansas would prefer St. Louis over OKC, right?
I would think so.
I mean, they're not that.
I'm telling you, Nebraska's schedule is the best of those Big Ten teams. I just Illinois now. I don't know. We'll see on all of that. Rob, you're right. These games are monumental. I mean, everyone is monumental now because you're playing for a 2 seed, basically,
and a great host spot,
right?
Like tens of thousands of fans could drive.
No, these are monster games.
Like,
make no mistake,
we
they're
talk
monster.
about Husker fans and what they do with volleyball, what they do with football. They have never gotten the Memphis thing was probably the exception, but a true chance to like go in as the high dog,
right?
Where you could drive 5-6 hours to watch Nebraska going down there with you expecting them to possibly win the weekend. Do you understand?
And go to the Final Four.
How big that would be?
Yes, I do.
Like the number of people.
I do understand.
You can get in your car and go, versus having to go to Philadelphia or somewhere far.
That's why these games, I'm telling you, they're gigantic. Like last night was big. I mean, it was a big.
Like you
kind of lost opportunity.
A huge home court advantage in a regional. Huge home court advantage.
Right, yeah. Rob, the games are huge. Every one going down the stretch. Every single one is huge.
It's that time of year where there are no easy games. Every game's huge.
In regionals, though, Rob, don't they put? I mean, the lower level bowl seats tend to be kind of occupied by the teams. Like it's really hard for like Joe Public fan to get those good seats.
Yeah, so there's sections usually
per each team.
I haven't covered a lot of NCAA tournaments, so forgive my ignorance here, but as far as like conference championships and the NCAAs I've covered, there's usually a chunk right behind each bench that's devoted to the school. And then there's like, they sell it by session. So like, 2 games here, break, next session. So you can kind of buy it. You have to pick your session. You don't get all the games.
Big thank you to Fred and that team that we don't have this conversation of, oh, I just hope they win one game and get. I love that we're not just focused on that, which I've always thought. I kind of dreaded writing that column over the years. Like they finally won an NCAA tournament game. Like who doesn't win an NCAA tournament game?
Nebraska.
Right. But like I like the column of, no, this team's good enough to get to the Final Four. Like they should win a first round game. I mean, we're not treating it like the end all be all.
I also don't want to diminish that accomplishment though.
Yeah.
Like that is still a major thing, a giant blemish on this program, an embarrassing black eye that they've carried for a long, long time. And even though they might be projected to make a deep run, that first win is going to be a monumental moment in Nebraska basketball, obviously.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
like they should have, and they do have bigger aspirations than just winning a game and being happy to be there. But I don't also want to take away what that means to the program, what that would mean to the fan base, people that have prayed for days like this. And now it's
Nebraska
right there
to
for the
point
taking.
where you kind of take for granted an NCAA tournament.
Can you guys imagine this state though when the tournament that Thursday, Friday when Nebraska's playing? I mean, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll probably be writing a spring football story about the D line.
What we learned, what we know, what's next. A little prefabricated.
You'll be huddled up in here.
All the questions for spring practice that day are going to be asking people around the football program their thoughts about the basketball team. What are your thoughts about the basketball team?
I thought Quit Knives looked good.
All right. Well, let's have fun with it. Great show. Thanks to Abby Barmore, Steve Sipple, Robin Washington. I'm Sean Callahan, back on Friday with Husker Online Headlines. Make sure you follow Robin's work as well as he continues this historic run covering Nebraska basketball.